King is responding to the hate that she got on Twitter yesterday. She was actually trending after people watched a clip that CBS This Morning posted on Twitter, her interview with Kobe Bryant's longtime friend Lisa Leslie.
And Gayle is not happy that CBS posted an isolated part of that interview when Gayle asked Lisa about the sexual assault case against Kobe from 2003. Now we're going to show you the 90 seconds that CBS This Morning posted.
It's been said that his legacy is complicated because of a sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time, Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, you know, Lisa, go get that girl or tell her or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Mm-hmm. He was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. Mm-hmm. I just don't believe that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. Mm-hmm. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful. At this time, it's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, but it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
Okay, so when it aired on Tuesday, the overall segment was 5.5 minutes long. This part was 3 minutes into the segment, but yeah, CBS This Morning only posted those 90 seconds on Twitter.
Yeah, so there was huge outrage that Gayle would bring that up, including from 50 Cent at the premiere of his new show For Life last night.
I just didn't understand what the goal is at that point. Because you know what Kobe means to the actual culture at the same time. Like they knew what Michael Jackson meant.
But if somebody...
I just don't know what you're trying to do when the men are dead. The legal system couldn't deal with it. What are you supposed to do? Publicly convict them? Is that the idea?
What do you gain from that? I swear to God, we the worst. We the worst. We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why y'all attacking us? We your people. You ain't coming after Harvey Weinstein asking them dumb ass questions. I get sick of y'all. I want to call you one. Is it okay if I call her one? Funky dog head. How dare you try to tarnish my mother homeboy's reputation, punk mother. Respect the family and back off before we come get you.
So that was Snoop Dogg there. He posted that on Instagram last night. Whew. Okay. So despite being advised against it, Gayle went on Instagram early this morning before she headed into work at CBS This Morning to address this. And yeah, she's not happy that the isolated clip was posted.
I know that if I had only seen the clip that you saw, I'd be extremely angry with me too. I am mortified, I'm embarrassed, and I am very angry. Unbeknownst to me, my network put up a clip from a very wide-ranging interview, totally taken out of context, and when you see it that way, it's very jarring. It's jarring to me. And yes, we talked about that court case, because that court case has also come up. And I wanted to get Lisa's take on it as a friend who knew him well, what she thought, where that should stand. And I thought it was very powerful when she looked me in the eye as a member of the media to say it's time for the media to leave it alone and to back off. During the course of the interview, I asked follow-up questions because I wanted to make sure that her position and perspective were very clear. And at the end, when she said it's time to leave it alone, as I said, I thought that was powerful. And I insisted that part be in the interview because I thought that it put a nice button on that part of the conversation. So for the network to take the most salacious part, when taken out of context and put it up online for people who didn't see the whole interview, is very upsetting to me, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with them. And there will be a very intense discussion about that.
Wow. There's a lot of reaction to this.
I don't think that she can say out of context.
No, that's the part I'm confused about.
Because when you have different topics within an interview, you don't have to have watched topic number 1 to understand the context of topic number 2. And I think that where people are mad at Gayle is she asked the first question and she got an answer to the first question. Right. Then she pushed again with the second. Then she pushed again with the third. Then and then she brought up the fact that the case was dismissed. And then Gayle reiterates that the case was only dismissed because she refused to testify. So it was just this. She just kept going and going and going with it. It almost sounded like Gayle was trying to get her to say something. And she wasn't happy with what she had said with as far as her answers go. But as far as taking it out of context, there's nothing to take out of context.
I don't think it would matter if people saw that whole interview, which was about 5.5 minutes, that segment that they had on CBS this morning. I don't think people would have a different opinion of what Gayle asked if they'd seen. Because the other parts are, talking about his legacy, talking about his daughter, like it was that kind of stuff.
What she wants to say is, you guys in that clip didn't see all the parts where I was nice to her.
Right.
That's what she wants to say. That's what she means when she says taken out of context.
A lot of comments here. Noah says, it's easy to say that it was taken out of context. You said what you said. Carrie says, out of context or not, she did ask those questions. Don't ask questions you're not ready to stand by. Mia says, who appears to be a black woman, says Gayle wasn't wrong for asking the question. The black community is way too sensitive. But a lot of people are saying that David says it was disrespectful. Gage says, why in the world would CBS post that one clip? Angry Bird says, why not? Death doesn't automatically exonerate people. Linda says, Gayle and Oprah need to stop denigrating black people for the white man's pleasure. Jenny says, Lisa handled it so well. But in general, we've been talking about this over the past, I guess it's been a week since Kobe passed away. But should people be bringing up the court case? And I don't think they're not mutually exclusive. His amazing legacy, all his charity work, everything that he did, that's part of his legacy. And unfortunately, that was part of his history. So I don't think it's completely wrong to have that part of the conversation. I don't think you need to ignore it in order to praise him.
I just think that they felt that Gayle came off aggressive with it.
Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, you think it was a little bit much pushing for it so hard, but I don't think it's a wrong topic to bring up with one of Kobe's really good friends.
And hey, listen, last night when they announced that Kirk Douglas died, Natalie Wood started trending above Kirk Douglas almost immediately because people were going back to the allegations that he had sexually assaulted Natalie Wood in 1954 or wherever it was, and people wanted to get that trending above Kirk Douglas. So people don't forget about this stuff, and unfortunately, when it does come to somebody's legacy, you don't necessarily get to dictate what makes your legacy. You can only act how you do and live your life the way you live, but you can't erase things, and you can't choose, and you can't dictate the conversations that people.
Snoop, first of all, again, thank you for joining us early. I know it's like real early out there in L.A.
Woo.
Real early. It's probably about 6
in the morning. Police at my door.
Hey, one of the things I want to ask, man, because I feel like, man, what can we do for Vanessa Bryant and her daughters and Kobe's family and, from all of us all over the country? I feel like we all Laker Nation, because this has had an effect on all of us, and we just want to know, what can we do? What can we do?
I think the most important thing that we can do for Vanessa and the girls is send a lot of prayer and send a lot of angels around them to make sure that they get their strength and that they're able to move forward and to continue living and just to keep their husband and their father's legacy in the righteous manner, so that way they can continue to move forward, because they're the ones who are most devastated. We love Kobe and he was always a part of our life, but he was directly connected to them, their father, their husband. So it's like, her husband, their father. So it's a different sense of urgency to put some love in the air for her and the kids, and some prayer and some angels. And, we all come from that church background. We know when Auntie and all them is praying, everything works out all right. So I'm just asking y'all to put some prayer angels out there for Vanessa and her beautiful babies.
Right. Yeah. Evie, you got a question? Brett?
Hey, Snoop. It's Eva from LA.
What up,
And
Eva?
I just want to know how the city feeling. I came into LA for Essence Black Women in Hollywood yesterday, so I was only there for just a minute. But I know, you know, when Nip passed away, there was a cloud over the city. How is the city dealing right now?
This is probably like a double cloud, like, because this was, it was so unexpected. It wasn't. I mean, him and his daughter, and then the other people on the helicopter. It's like, it's just so tragic that those people on that helicopter were special. Not just Kobe and his daughter, but everybody on there was special, and they affected a lot of people out here. So, Los Angeles, California, just in general, just is we can't believe it. It's like a bad dream.
Yeah.
And we trying to like stick with each other and stay down with each other and support each other. So that's why if something happens to the negative, we react the way we react, because we so trying to be positive and trying to do what's right, and we so hurt right now. I mean, grown men have been crying.
Yeah,
exactly.
I sat down with some grown men, and we cried like babies, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this touched us deeply.
Right.
Which means it was a real dumb thing for Gayle King to ask Lisa Leslie anything about Kobe. It's just in general, she just shouldn't have did it.
I think that wasn't even necessary.
It wasn't.
For the simple fact that you got Lisa Leslie, a all-star, a great player, an Olympic gold medalist, who actually grew with Kobe. She was a Spark, L.A. Spark. Kobe was a L.A. Laker. It was one of those things where you could have asked great questions on how was their relationship, how was he a mentor, what. And she tried to defend Kobe by saying that I've been in the club with players who be like, hey, Lisa, go get that girl for me. Kobe was never like that. I got homies that's aggressive like that too, but then at the same time, you know I'm not like that. And Kobe not like that. So it's like it's certain people that just wasn't like that. So in Lisa's mind, she feel like, why you keep asking the question when the case was dismissed?
Right.
He wasn't even guilty. So if it was that serious, and no disrespect to the victim, but if it was that serious, if you did that to me, I'm getting on the witness stand and I'm coming forth to make sure you go do some time.
Right. And the thing about it is, man, just like you said, I was thinking the same thing. Like
Kobe Bryant's life, he's part of the public eye, and I think there's this tremendous association that people had with him and with his career. I mean, Kobe Bryant was the kind of player that people felt passionate about. Some people loved him, some people hated him, some people loved and hated him for things that happened on the court, some people for what happened off the court. But over the course of his career, he not only excelled as a player, you know, he was an 18-time All-Star, for goodness sakes, but he was also very much a global athlete. His name was Kobe because his father was a basketball player named Joe Bryant who traveled the world, and Kobe was named after Kobe, Japan, where Kobe played. Kobe grew up in Italy. He spoke fluent Italian. He spoke Spanish. There's a basketball player named Luka Doncic, and Kobe would speak to him in Slovenian. So Kobe had this global appeal, which has led to this outpouring of grief that we see today. And for a lot of folks, as you know, people just thought the second act of Kobe's life was just getting started at age 41. And I think when you factor in the death of Gigi as well, who had aspirations to be a basketball player in her own right, it's almost like this future that people saw for Kobe was just erased in the blink of an eye. And I think that's what people are suffering with right now.
Can you talk now about what happened in 2003, Dave Zirin? What happened in Colorado?
Well, I'll be frank with you. First and foremost, it's difficult to discuss because you want to give people space to mourn right now. And I feel like there is going to be time to discuss all of this. But I also understand that this is part of Kobe's legacy and it does need to be discussed. In 2003, Kobe was charged with sexual assault. In 2005, the charges were dropped when his accuser did not testify, and Kobe's lawyers absolutely engaged in a scorched earth campaign against his accuser that was so intense they actually changed the rape shield laws in Colorado because they were so vicious towards her. Now, part of the settlement the part of the deal that Kobe, in terms of the civil suit of writing a very large check to make the charges go away, involved Kobe writing out an apology that was read in court, where Kobe acknowledged that he did not think that his accuser had offered consent in their encounter. And I have to tell you, like, I was speaking with back then in 2005, that hadn't really been seen before. I mean, now I think it probably doesn't I don't know how we would look at it in 2020 in our era today, but in 2005, offering that statement where he spoke about the issue of consent. I know that for a lot of organizations that work in restorative justice circles, they've used that statement as a way to speak about the importance of understanding consent and the importance of fighting sexual assault and rape culture.
Appearing on Hoda and Gianna and Friends, Oprah Winfrey was in tears after revealing her friend Gayle King is not doing well because she now has death threats over her interview with WNBA star Lisa Leslie, in which Kobe Bryant's rape allegations were brought up.
I think the last 24 hours for your best friend have been pretty difficult after that interview with Lisa Leslie about Kobe. And I just wondered just how she's doing.
She is not doing well. May I say she is not? She is not doing well, because she has now death threats and has to now travel with security, and she's feeling very much attacked. You know, Bill Cosby is texting from is tweeting from jail, and she's not doing well, and feels that she was put in a really terrible position because that interview had already ran.
It was over.
And in the context of the interview, everyone seemed fine, including Lisa Leslie. And it was only because somebody at the network put up that clip. And I can see how people would obviously be very upset if you thought that Gayle was just trying to press to get an answer from Lisa Leslie. But she obviously, all things pass. She will be okay. But she hasn't slept in 2 days.
What do you think about all that criticism?
I think the vitriol is, I think anybody can criticize anything, but the misogynist vitriol and the attacking to the point where it is dangerous to be in the streets alone, because it's not just the people who are attacking, it's the other people who take that message and feel like they can do whatever they want to because of it. You know, I was on the phone with her this morning, I was on the phone with her last night, I was on the phone with her the night before. I think you stand in the gap, you try to be there for your friends, but this is very hard, because when you have social media and the force of social media, and particularly people who didn't see either interview making attacks, and I think everybody has the right to have their opinion, but to do it with such vitriol is hate and meanness.
Now, of course, the backlash began after CBS This Morning posted this clip from Gayle's interview with Lisa on social media.
That his legacy is complicated because of sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time. Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, Lisa, go get that girl, or tell her, or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Kobe's, he was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. I just don't believe that. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful at this time. It's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, the case it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of comments about this online. Lori is saying Gayle is digging her hole deeper. It was inappropriate and really poor timing, given how soon it has been. She doesn't get it. Mary says, I would never support death threats, but Gayle was way out of line and her apology is crap. I'm sorry. Death threats are unnecessary. Two wrongs never make a right. Miriam is saying, she said she's mourning his loss while talking about allegations about him. He's not even buried yet. Hannah is saying people need to be real. We are all one family. We should remember all the good things he's done. Death threats for doing her job. Really, we all love Kobe, but and Noah is saying I sort of have mixed feelings about it. It ended. So there's just a lot going on.
I think the things that we have to remember is that the whole interview was put on air before that clip came out from CBS. Right. And nobody reacted to it at that point because you saw the whole interview in its full. Then this clip is sent out by her company without her acknowledgement. She didn't even know. She said she woke up to all these comments. That's what she said in her Instagram post, where she was trying to explain the whole thing. And now people are reacting because we don't have the whole content to it. When you do watch the video, she even said, I'm not surprised the way people reacted. I mean, both of us, I felt uncomfortable watching that as well because she seemed to be pushing at Lisa. But the death threats, no, that's not allowed. It's not what she was trying to do. If you watch the original interview, it fits really well. And then Snoop Dogg, and then you hear about 50 Cent, and then you hear about Bill Cosby tweeting Snoop Dogg and the comments he's making with it.
He get access to his Twitter account in the first place. Anyway, that's a side note.
That's a different story. Yeah.
But and I agree with you. And I think a really big topic, I've talked about it in the makeup room. Everyone has very, very strong opinions, and I honestly see both sides.
Yeah.
This is part of his past. Bringing up something that actually factually things, there was rape allegations to bring this up, but to bring it up during a time after he's just passed, that's the part that so many people have problems with, but people are talking about it on social media. So I don't disagree with the fact that Gayle brought it up, but I think some people are having a hard time with the amount of questions and how strongly worded some of the questions were.
Yeah, but we noticed a lot of outlets right after Kobe passed away actually brought it up.
They did,
The day he passed away, people were talking about it. And so this was a few days after, and then this airs today, and I think his memorial is happening on the 24th. But it's really the conversation of the death threats, and it really does need to stop. And I know people feel strong about it. Fair enough. Be strong about it. Feel negative towards it. But she's a woman who's doing her job. And again, if you see the whole interview, nobody reacted that way. It was just this one clip. And Oprah getting emotional. That's her best friend.
It's her best friend.
She's feeling for her. And I'm so glad that she spoke up this morning. And Gayle didn't go to work this morning. So
yeah, exactly.